right, Holy Apostles, I hope you had a great week, all recovered from Hurricane Milton, got everything back together and ready to roll. I just wanted to talk about the things that are going on at Holy Apostles. We got some new things coming up that we're excited to share. So on this video and next week, and probably the week ahead, we're going to be rolling out some new announcements of exciting opportunities at Holy Apostles. So I'm going to bring you over to look at the little bit of a slideshow that I got prepared, and we will go from there. So let me get that up for you, and we will get rolling. All right, we are almost here and almost ready to go. We're going to go. Okay, so again, we keep doing these announcement videos because we just want you to know what's happening. And there's a lot happening. There really is. And a lot more that's going to be happening. So let me jump into this. And first of all, I am going to fix the slides so that my overlay is not covering up the slides. But I didn't get a chance to get to that this week. But we do have a women's fellowship that is kicking off for their October meeting next Tuesday, October 22nd. That's going to be a Thanksgiving kind of themed women's group because they're not going to have women's group meeting in November. So the October one will take the place of the November one, and it will be Thanksgiving themed. So that's next Tuesday at 6:30 at Sarah Day's home. If you don't have directions, call the church office. Deanna can get you there. I think it's also on the emails that are sent out as well. But we'd love for you to join our women's group at Sarah's house, 6:30 on the 22nd of October. And it is Thanksgiving themed. Moving on from there, we have our last of the Great Awakening series, which is going to be the fourth Great Awakening coming up this Sunday. So this Sunday, we're going to be rounding out this Christian formation series. I've enjoyed it a lot. I've loved looking at the Great Awakenings in a little more depth. I've loved sharing with you the information. And I think, we've had a pretty good turnout for all three of them. The fourth one's pretty exciting as well. So that is coming up this week. That's going to introduce a lot of new things that we've not really looked at yet, like the birth of the non-denominational church, or the really growth of it, the growth of the mega church. Those sorts of things we're going to be looking at in the fourth Great Awakening. And I will give you just a little bit of a hint. We're going to have some hippies in the Great Awakening, the fourth edition. So keep that in mind. A lot of it's going to be geared towards music. And I just think it's a fascinating kind of event that took place in our history. So we'll be looking at the fourth Great Awakening. Starts at 8:30 in the morning. I know that's super early, but we try with all of our Christian formation to make it something that's worth getting up a little bit early and showing up for. So I do want to thank those who have committed to this series and have shown up all those Sundays. So this is the last of it, so keep that in mind. With it being the last of this series, we have to have a new Christian formation series, and we've already got that planned, ready to roll. We're going to be looking at the 7 deadly sins over 2 weeks. We're going to spend 2 weeks looking at the 7 deadly sins, and this is not scheduled to be at 8:30. This is scheduled after we're back in the church, hopefully on the 3rd of November. So this is November 10th and November 17th. So this is scheduled to be after Rally Day. So we're going to take 2 weeks of Christian formation off. One of them is just a week off, but the other one we're taking off because we are planning for that to be Rally Day. We won't have Christian formation on Rally Day. Rather, it will be a celebration of the work done at Holy Apostles and the year ahead. So the next Christian formation is scheduled November 10th and November 17th. We're going to be looking at the 7 deadly sins. Look, initially, this was scheduled to be around Halloween, the week before Halloween and the week after Halloween. But with Rally Day getting pushed back, it kind of got bumped out of that slot a little bit. But we were looking at kind of a spooky Christian formation. It still is kind of around Halloween. So November 10th and 17th, the 7 deadly sins. Should be a lot of fun. I love this topic. I love looking at it. So that's what we're going to be doing on the 10th and 17th. Please consider joining us. It's a small commitment, 2 weeks, but it should definitely be worth it. 7 Deadly Sins is the next Christian formation series. One of the things I wanted to bring up is this week, there's we have those feast days where we honor the saints of the past in the Episcopal Church. And this week we had 2 really big ones. Like yesterday was Nicholas Ridley and Hugh Latimer. That's huge. That's huge in the life of the church. And so, unfortunately, because this series came out today rather than yesterday, I thought it was better to look at Ignatius of Antioch, because today is actually the feast day of Ignatius of Antioch. So yesterday was Nicholas Ridley and Hugh Latimer. We missed that, but we can definitely grab on to Ignatius of Antioch, one of the early church fathers, considered to be like one of the top 3 early church fathers. Ignatius of Antioch. He was considered to be a disciple of the Apostle John. So that's interesting in and of itself. And some believe there's a church tradition that believes that he was one of the children that was taken to Christ, in which he gathered the children up into his arms and blessed them in Mark chapter 10, verse 16. Ignatius of Antioch was thought to be one of those children. Now, how much historic reliability is on that? I don't know. If I were gonna bet on it, if I were gonna put some money on it, I'd say that that's probably not the case. But it is a cool idea, and I do like it, and I did want to share it with you. He is also the first Christian, at least one of the first Christians who was arguing for the Sabbath to be moved from the traditional Sabbath date of it being on Saturday, which goes back to the creation narrative. On the 7th day God rested, the 7th day being Saturday. He was one of the first who argued that it should be moved from Saturday to Sunday, because Sunday was the day, the Lord's Day, in which the Lord resurrected from the cross. So the argument for it being moved was kind of initiated by Ignatius of Antioch, but it's kind of a cool thing, I think. He is also one who stressed the value of the Eucharist. And since we are a Eucharistic denomination, body of believers, I thought that was kind of a cool thing. He referred to it as the medicine of the immortal, which I think is pretty cool. So Ignatius of Antioch, definitely a saint worth looking at, and his feast day is today. So today, sometime during the day, if you think about it, do a Google search on him. He's a fascinating figure, somebody definitely worth looking at. Also, I did want to update you on honoring the past, building for the future. My face is covering it up, but we have received some more some more money towards the project. We're now up to $328,440, which is pretty great. Thank you to all those who have supported the work that's going on, and I love that more and more people are getting involved and giving towards the project. So this last week we did receive $5,300 more dollars. So just something to always be praising God for, that continual blessing of the financial giving of Holy Apostles towards this project. So there's that. And then the one thing I did want to bring up, and for whatever reason, when I transfer this over to this other computer, it messes up my slides. But we are still looking at a November 3rd opening. Even with the hurricane, our emergency date is November 10th. But it does still appear as though we're going to hit that November 3rd opening, where we go back into the church. Rally days on the 3rd. Everything's up and running as it should be. But we will still have one service because we do want to all come together in celebration of this. But it still does look like November 3rd is that kickoff. So keep that in mind. For Rally Day, there is a sign-up sheet in the parish hall to sign up, letting us know that you plan on attending, but then also a sign-up sheet to bring something. We're going to supply the meat. We always kind of do Mexican kind of fiesta celebration on Rally Day. So we're going to supply the meat, but we're asking people to supply things like lettuce, tomatoes, sour cream, tortillas, things like that. So check the sign-up sheet in the parish hall. And if you're willing to bring something, it would be much appreciated. So Rally Day still slated as November 3rd, and it does look like we're going to be in the sanctuary on November 3rd. So maybe just 2 more Sundays in the parish hall. The closer we get, the more exciting it is. If you stop by the church, you can see that the roof is finished on the church. The ceiling inside is almost finished. Once that ceiling is done, everything's going to start falling into place. The lights are going to be installed. The fans are going to be installed. Carpet's going to be installed. The all-important carpet will be installed, and the pews will be getting back in. The windows, we still don't have a date on that yet, but hopefully that's pretty soon as well. Air conditioners are already installed, so there's a lot of movement taking place. It's pretty exciting. So as far as Rally Day, still looking at November 3rd. We are going to have, I don't have a slide for it. I will next week, but we are going to have our craft and bake sale kicking off sometime in November. I'll let you know for sure, but just a reminder that we are planning to do that as well. And I think, that's all that I got for you. Last week was Lauren and Linda Fox, the open plate. So thank you to everybody who contributed to that as well. But that's all I got for you this week on Holy Apostles announcement. Hopefully, if I don't see you before, I see you in church on Sunday. And again, we're going to be rolling out these videos every Wednesday. This is a Thursday because I failed you once again. But I'll pull it together. I'll get everything together for next Wednesday, and we should be good. Anyways, once again, my name is Todd. I am the rector at Holy Apostles, and hopefully I see you on Sunday. I'm out of here.